Kings, after a very long month away from home, I have finally returned and resettled in. There has been rapid-fire development since the appeal and subsequent arrest. So I'll try to cover as much as I can to the best of my ability. But be warned that I am still very much out of the loop more than usual. So there are things I miss that I genuinely don't know. First, for those wondering where my mini video from 2 weeks ago went, it was unfortunately taken down for harassment. It happened the same day as the arrest, so I do believe there is a correlation with my strike and Baldo's arrest. No clue if it was automatically done or the fledgling remnants of the Baldo Brigade manually flagged it, but what's done is done and I shall power through. Next, there hasn't been an update on Josh's attempt to receive the body cam footage of the raid on the Complex. I'm sure if he asked noted police lover Andrew Branca to assist him, he likely would regardless if Nick is his friend. The description of how belligerent Nick acted throughout the search of his house, including him throwing the search warrant to the ground, yields potential for Keck, alongside seeing how horrendous a state the Complex is in. We've seen the state of the kitchen, so my assumption would be that the rest of the home is perhaps not Chris Chan levels of bad, but it will be in disarray. And on a small side tangent, Nick truly is cucked if he actually kept a 22 in the house, especially if the 22 was the safe queen he kept locked up. It'd only make him even more of a cuck for owning a baby's first gun caliber instead of something that can make you feel recoil. Be a man and own an Obres Mosin, you fucking troglodyte! Before I delve into the arraignment, I would like to do some speculation on the defamation case that has been thrown to the back of the bus with righteous fury. There hasn't been any talk from Schneider or Randazza on what will happen with the lawsuit to my understanding, but one would think Monty is now in an extremely advantageous position. You now have the man who defamed you fighting a very real and life-changing criminal case and cannot have the funds, without financial help from the trust fund, to handle both. If I were Monty, I would be pushing for settlement harder than ever and asking for even more than before. Not because Randazza would go for it, because of Nick's now different situation, taking precedence over something that can be viewed as trivial currently, nor would Nick suddenly have a moment of clarity and see reason. But because you have all but a blank check in terms of what you want to receive as recompense. Not that Nick would agree to settle. Even now, when the wolves are at his gates and his life is very much falling apart before his and our eyes. But if Randazza cared enough, he'd agree to settle without letting Nick derail it and sinking himself into a bigger hole. Last, and what I'm most unaware of, is the arraignment and eventual trial. Bernie, if you're not up to date on this, then why mention it? I hear you ask, because I'll start on what I do know. Nick, for all he made fun of for Monty and others doing so prior, and has recommended against doing so back when he was sober, is defending our wife, possibly hot wife, and himself pro se. Whether he's doing the same tactic he did with the Lowell suit and filing pro se as a bridge to getting a practicing lawyer or legit taking the case himself remains to be seen. But I'm leaning he's going full lautist. I also know he asked to have the judge changed for his arraignment, which backfired instantly as now the judge overseeing his arraignment has sat trial on child abusers and has ramped up the possibility of him being behind bars for a longer period of time. Now we again delve into the realm of speculation. April has gone dark since the arrest, and wisely so. Aaron, other noted cuck in the Wilmar wife swap, likely has no whereabouts as to where his dearly betrothed is. Editor Bernie here, mid-paragraph, has shit-changed amidst me scripting this out for what I'm going to assume is my longest video, before I even go into my editing program. Aaron has only gone and filed for divorce from the hot wife. He's beating Nick to the punch in being the one with an even more open relationship. Now back to what I typed out 4 hours ago for the sake of posterity and not wanting to do another part over again. Possibly because he's still trying to be a clout goblin and make out like the virtuous one in this situation. I was given the theory that April will turn state and testify against Baldo for lesser charges, and to distance herself from the situation. I do believe this to be not only a plausible outcome, but most likely what will happen. April is probably carrying the belief that she and Aaron were unwilling participants in this entire shit show, and she wants to minimize damage to herself and whatever life she can make for herself after. Reality states and shows differently regardless of how Aaron chooses to frame it for everyone, including the saps believing what he's saying without question. But enjoy the rose-tinted glasses while you still have them. Our wife, shown to be in the final stages of her golem transformation, is the most likely to be thinking of the kids at this point. I can't imagine she's still living under the same roof as Nick after everything that's happened. But we've been delightfully surprised before with everything that's occurred during the Coomer saga, so there is time yet. The probability of Nick going on stream and fighting these apparent false and frivolous charges goes up slimly by the day, but I know what you're all waiting for. Let the Baldo man come forth and speak his truth, Kangs.
Baldo-natics, I urge you to fret not. All these claims and charges of what I did are fabricated from dreams concocted by the gangster police and their nigger puppet underlings. I am the innocent party in all of this. The cocaine, powdered sugar I kept in my room when I had a taste for something sweet. The ketamine, just 5 shots I took between bottles of liquor, and I would never, ever own a .22. The gangster police planted that to make you think I had dainty wrists and weak hands. I'm a real man and only own handguns with a minimum caliber of .500 Smith & Wesson. If the recoil can't break my hand from shooting it with a single hand, then you will not find it in my home. And I will be demanding the Wilmar police replace my door on their dime when I win my case and avoid jail time. Stop asking about why I paid for an unconditional bail. It wasn't to avoid guilt. I need my GT 500 back to drive the kids away from the custody center and go straight to Baldo headquarters. They've declared themselves to be a sovereign state and will harbor my children in safety away from the prude incels, the Karen farmers, the gangster police, and the gangster computer. God! I've asked Drex to accompany them as a last line of defense as well. April and Aaron have complied wonderfully with filing for divorce as a smokescreen to draw everyone, police and local news included, away from my actions so that I can reacquire my liquor. My stash means more than the bargaining chips I will have stashed at Baldo headquarters called my children. Our wife, who definitely is still living under the same roof as me, has longed for my guidance more than ever. She now realizes that I only pretended to not be a lawyer just for the opportune time to arise where I could reveal myself to be a still practicing lawyer and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And no, I will not read your super chats. None of you believed this day would ever come, and yet here it is. What say you to that? Only Frey and Barnes remain steadfast in their defense of me. Ethan Van Scriver is already getting ready to think about writing a comic about me and 25 years of my exploits in my trial. Dirt Eater Anna is letting me inside of her like we're back at Mitsuri all over again. They are the true believers. The rest of you aren't worthy of being called my fans. Not even you, C. Goody, who was dumb enough of a nigger to believe getting catfished by a man is a massive win for you to own the farms. And I was given a harder judge just so I could flex my law acumen that much harder. None of you are prepared for the deluge of shit I will bring down upon you after I win and walk away unscathed. Alyssa will have no channel left when I'm done. Pepsi Man will be forced to become a Dr. Thunderboy when I sink my teeth into him. And whoever this Bernie Man is won't find it funny using his AI when I give him something worse to endure besides hearing me speak. The Law Pope has never been so back, and if I don't win, I can always room with Ethan. And if the cartels can't stop them, I'll rent a room with Roman Polanski in Switzerland. If they want me, they'll have to go through him. I am fucking Teflon. Nothing will ever touch the paralegal god.